Every single good deal I found, it was right here from the heart.
Was it?
I only make bad decisions in my head. Only good decision in a relationship, in a business, everything was from the gut. I don't analyze shit. I don't listen to anybody. I just like, hey, that's a good property. And then because I believe so much in it, then my head makes it work.
And now, Escaping the Drift, the show designed to get you from where you are to where you want to be. I'm John Gafford, and I have a knack for getting extraordinary achievers to drop their secrets to help you on a path to greatness. So stop drifting along, escape the drift, and it's time to start right now. Back again for another episode of the show, man, like I said in the opening, that gets you from where you are to where you want to be. And if you are somebody that's out there, maybe trying to figure out, not just how to get ahead in business, but you got something holding you back. It's like in the back of your mind, you wake up and you see these people online and they're doing so well and you think, why not me? And then you think, it's maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not strong enough. Maybe I'm not smart enough. Maybe I'm suffering from a little bit of imposter syndrome. Well, if that's you, I got a guest for you today that's going to help you break that curse, going to help you break to the other side of that. This is a gentleman that came to this country as an immigrant, built himself a little real estate empire. And by little, I mean a giant real estate empire encompassing thousands of doors. Also through that journey, he battled with his own demons, and he's going to talk about those freely today. He is the author of the upcoming book, Not Enoughness. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program. This is Jarek Tadla. Jarek, how are you, buddy?
I love the introduction, man. I was like,
dude, I say it every week when people come in. I'm like, it's all downhill from there. That was the highlight of the show, because you got to get them while they're listening. You got to impress them, and that's where we're at.
You got to be, man. I was like, oh, whoa.
Yeah, I got you pumped up. That's a good start. That's a great start. So, man, you came to this country as an immigrant. You didn't start here. You're Polish.
Yes.
When did you come to the United States?
21. I was exactly short few days, 21. My parents won the green card, so that's how I got it. I was fortunate enough to come legally from the day one, so I didn't have to struggle with all this stuff. So,
well, that's a question I wanted to ask. Obviously, it's nice. We'll hit it right at the top of the show, which is with everything that's going on with the illegal immigration into our country right now. You, as somebody that migrated to the country legally, I guess you got to be would have to be conflicted about this.
No, actually, at that time, I knew I won lottery.
Right.
Even during the podcast, you will see me, I won lottery, and people's like, he really won lottery. I'm not talking money lottery, but just being able to come here and being legally, and they're being surrounded by people, like how much they struggle to live in this country, and they're going through the legal process and not being able to, so that was the first lottery I really won. And it was a green card lottery.
Yeah.
And when I moved here, I ended up in my godfather's house. We got there at 2:00 in the morning. He woke me up at 7 a.m., cut the grass, and let's go to school. On the first day, at 4:00, they picked me up, go to the restaurant, wash dishes, and that's how my journey stared.
Did you speak English when you moved to the country?
Not at all.
Not a lick of
a word. I knew some cuss words.
Had you gone to university? Had you gone to school in Poland?
Yeah,
what had you done?
Well, in Poland, I did high school, and then I did university, and then I stopped because I moved here, and then I continued the education here. So I finished college. First I did English second language, and then I did associate and bachelor in Sunny Brockford.
Okay.
So, but I graduated quickly. So it was 3 years because, I got some credits from Poland.
Yes.
So that's why, I graduate by, in 3 years.
Okay. So what did mom and dad do? What was their profession?
Dishwashers. We were all working in a factory, washing dishwashers. In Poland, they were high-end executives. My father was, but you see, my parents moved for us to have a better life. So they really stepped down completely. They being my father was a GM of the transportation company, and my mom was of a construction company, and they were highly educated, and they came here and started working for factory and washing dishes. They had 2 jobs just for us, so we can have a brighter future.
I mean, knowing that, doesn't it just, when you see these people, they're like, like right now, there's always protests going on everywhere in the country. I'm not asking you to spout your political beliefs, but I'm just saying, as somebody that their parents gave up everything just to live in this country, it's got to kind of irk you a little bit when you see others saying, death to America while they're standing on the steps of New York.
Dude, I put the long sleeve. I'm getting goosebumps right now, what you're saying. I'm telling you, we live in the there's no country like this. Like, we live in the greatest country. And I've been here 31 years, 32 years. This is the best country ever. I do businesses all over the world, and there's nothing like this country. And, sometimes we take it for granted.
Yeah.
Like I always say, it's like the most skier per capita are in the South Florida, the more scuba diver per capita are in Colorado, because we don't appreciate what we have. And sometimes we take this country for granted. And actually, like, I don't want to go there, but it pisses me off.
Yeah.
When people I'm immigrant, I'm Polish and, American, but when people talk bad about this country, this is like, you know what? Let's go somewhere else.
Well, my favorite people to have on the program, honestly, are people that did immigrate here from other countries that have found great success, because I find that it strips the bullshit meter of all of the reasons why I can't be successful in this country right out the window.
Because you know what? We're not entitled.
Yeah.
What? I was entitled to be here. Like, not entitled. I was so grateful that I got here. And when I got here, when I see all the opportunities, like, there's just no way. Like, this is me. This is like, I'm going to take it. When I told my parents that I'm going to retire, like, by the age of 30, my parents were laughing. Like, my family make jokes of it. I was like, watch me. Like, this country is like, it's got everything to offer. And you know what? Like, I was just telling on the Sean Kelly show, everybody helps you out. Like, everybody, hey, you don't have to just find a new way. I'll walk you through. Let me show you. There's no competition. There's no enviness. It's like, hey, the market is huge, and everybody helps you out. And it's like, everybody really walked me by the hand. And it's like, yeah, you do it this way, this way, this way. And, I never stop asking questions and ever growing. I mean, I've been here 31 years and I'm still the student. And I will never stop. I will never stop.
I think there's a great point in that, which is so many people get absorbed with ego, especially when they start to find some level of success, that they feel that they have to be the ones with the answers. And the people that I have found that I choose to surround myself with in a lot of cases that are extremely successful understand that they're always still asking questions. And I think that's a great point that more people should like that. That's something if you're watching this or listening to this,
and look at
remember, like that's how you get to the next. There's levels to the game. And if you start thinking you know it all at level 3, you're never going to get to level 8.
And I can tell you the sign, escape the drift. That's exactly where the drift starts.
Yeah.
When you think you got there, oh brother, it just started. Everything's gonna go down the shit. Like, it's like every time, like, you think, oh, I got it, I don't need this anymore. Like, everything starts, and that's with the ego, and that's where the drifting starts. And it's funny, when we start drifting, we don't even know.
Yeah.
We become, it's like that's how it is, and never is. So every time, like, I feel comfortable, oh shit, I gotta switch something. I gotta learn how to be uncomfortable being comfortable. And it's a constant work. It doesn't matter if you're 30, if you're 35, 40, 50, 60, 70. Like, I know I retired so many times and I was miserable. Miserable. And I thought, I become entitled. But I was in the tunnel. Like, I love it. Like, for me, drifting is being in a tunnel and not being aware of it. That's what the drifting, because that's what the head, like in the imposter, and the devil gets in. It's like, dude, you deserve this shit. And that's not, it's the ego.
Yeah.
But everything in your soul, in your heart, is telling you, shit, I'm wrong.
Well, here's the thing. You don't achieve the level of success that you have without having an immense level of drive at a basic level. And I found that most people that have a high level of drive, like there's really a couple categories you can go into. You can go from incredible example to where the parents just were such great examples of high drive. You can go from situations of incredible adversity, where, like the David Goggins of the world, that dude's the hardest guy on the planet because he had a fucking terrible upbringing, and then you have, because they always say hard times breeds great people, or great, what is it? Hard times breed hard people, or success, or what is it? God, what am I trying to say? Hard times breed great men. Soft times breed soft men.
Yes.
Easy times breed soft men. And I think, so where does your drive come from? Obviously, the parents made a great sacrifice to come to this country, but where do you think your personal drive came from?
It's, you know what? Like I think about it a lot, and I got it. My because I meditate a lot and I pray, and lately I realized, I was a swimmer. I swim when I was a kid. I was like 16 years old when I quit swimming, and I was very, very good at it. And I was swimming because I was in Eastern Bloc. So what happened is we swim as a kid. Like, can you imagine being 6, 7, 8 years old and swim 6 hours a day, 2 practices, and then you have a break on Saturday. You only have a 3-hour practice, and then you have a day off on Sunday. And then you're 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. So what happened is, and I never, ever complain about it. I didn't like swimming. I my father made me swim. Mm-hmm. I never liked swimming, but I never complain about it. So in early age, I realized like what is hard for many other people is easy. So now dealing with my shit, this is easy comparing being in the pool and hitting the gym and do it on daily basis, 6 hours plus school, plus homeworks, plus doing all the stuff, traveling with the teachers. My life is easy.
Well, I think you just answered
comparing, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. When you said Eastern Bloc, I think you forget, right? Yeah. You forget that at the time when you were a little kid, like Poland was controlled by the Soviet Union.
Yes, and I got beat up, man. If I didn't do my time in the gym or in a pool, my time slack. I mean, you get out of that, you get beat up. Like you get you know what I mean, and you do it, and you don't complain about it,
dude. It's so funny how quick you forget, because like my grandparents moved here from Hungary in the 50s, and we went to Budapest a couple of years ago. Which was beautiful. It's like Paris of Eastern Europe. I love it. We went and we happened to be there on Hungarian Independence Day. And I was like, oh, this is going to be great. Hungarian Independence Day, it's going to be like lively celebrations. Oh no, dude. It was like 1 million people marching down their main street to Hero Square in dead silence, because Independence Day wasn't that long ago. Yeah. Like the people that were there still understand what it meant to get that independence, because they were alive when it happened. Yeah. And you see something like that and you realize, again, like you said, holy shit, how great it is we live in this country where you don't even have any concept of at some point somebody had to die for you to be free. And that was wild. So, that I think in itself, the fact that when you were a little kid in Poland, you were part of the Soviet Union. I'd kind of forgotten that.
Yeah. And not only that, remember, from generation to generations. And that's how your parents, that's how you were raised, and how the grandparents. So, you don't know it. You didn't know any better. And then you come here and the freedom is given to you. And you have access to all the knowledge, all the opportunities. And it's like, what? And it's like, what? Like this exists? Because remember when we broke in Poland, it was 81. Yeah. I mean, I still remember, even though that happened, it took years of all the conversations that I was surrounded with. Oh, sure. Like the school, the teachers, the coaches, the parents, the uncles, the aunts, the friends, everybody talk about it. So even though it's been like when I moved here, it was 10 years later, but they were still transition. Yeah. Even though we're free, but
you can't just shut it off in the mind.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can turn the border off, but the mind doesn't shut off so
exactly.
quick.
And here, remember, like I waited for the toilet paper, like 6-7 hours in the stores. I mean, if you want anything like bananas, like there was nothing. The shelves were empty, and then I come here. Yeah, I go to the store. I can buy banana. I can buy oranges. Are you fucking
at the same time?
Are you kidding me? And are you telling me I can be a dishwasher and pay rent? And I'm like 21 years old. I can pay rent. I can buy a car. I can buy gasoline. I can go to school. I mean, education. What?
Yeah.
I get financial aid because I just moved. They pay for my school. Like, they love me here.
Yeah.
Like, I got to pay it back.
Welcome aboard. There you go. So you started out dishwashing. That was the first job. Family business, had a restaurant. Was that it?
No, that was like my godfather friend.
Okay.
He had a restaurant. Yeah, it was small. Yeah, it was a small restaurant.
And where was this? Where was
in
this?
Rochester, New York.
Rochester, New York. Yeah. Okay.
But me washing dishes didn't take long, And so I washed dishes. Then from then, I was like a prep, and then I was busboy, then I was a waiter and running the restaurant. And then I have the conversation with at that time, my girlfriend. The family moved in, and they said like, hey, they live in Denver, and I was graduating from college, and we live in Denver. So yeah, we live in four units building, and we rent 3, and we live rent free.
Oh, the fourplex model.
Yeah. I'm like, huh? What? So I get home and really like at that time was my girlfriend, was my first wife. Later, I wrote a check for $50,000. I put it on the refrigerator, and she goes like, and we're doing this. And she goes like, we're doing what? What are you talking about? I'm like, we're moving to Denver, we're buying fourplex. What are you talking about? You're delusional. I'm like, babe, believe me. And again, I don't know how that happened. I have no idea. Then a year later, we got married. We used all the money I sold all the cars. We got married. We got like, I think $6,000-$7,000 from the wedding. And I bought my first fourplex. And I remember, like you on business, I had no idea that there's owner-occupied fourplexes. You know, you have no knowledge. You go $200,000 fourplex, you put $50,000, $60,000 with the closing costs, you know, and that's it, you know, and then you think you are the shit. You know, now I'm a restaurant manager in Denver, and then the other fourplex is for sale. But now you're kind of in business. Yeah. And now you got to kind of like, hey, you don't have to do it how you did on the first fourplex. You can do owner-occupied the next one. What are you talking about? I can buy, there was like a FHA program, 3% down, but you don't need that 3% down. Mm-hmm. So I buy my second fourplex with $1,000. Immediately after, the one behind, so I used my wife, you know, she bought the other one, fourplex, and we just like, I mean, we on the top of the world, man.
So now you got two cash flowing assets.
Yeah, I got like 3. And then we sold those. We bought it like 10 units. Like each fourplex, we turned it to 12, 16, and 17 units apartment buildings. And then we bought more.
Well, let's talk about that because I think that's something that is an interesting concept that a lot of people don't do in real estate, especially when they start investing. And I think that is a mistake, is they don't understand when an asset caps out in value. They don't understand when probably maximize appreciation, probably maximize cash flow, probably need to get off of this asset and 1031 it into a better asset that's starting at the bottom and start building there. I think people have this mentality sometimes with real estate is buy it, never sell it, or never domino it up. What's your thoughts on it?
Truly?
Yeah.
That's
why I asked.
I'm a long-term investor.
Well, no. Long-term is fine.
I'm a very long-term investor. Even if we have this conversation like literally like 3 years ago, I would tell you I don't sell anything. I was heartbroken to start selling the first properties that I bought in 96, 98, 98.
So you had them all.
I was heartbroken. But, you know, I just calculated my CFO. And of course, like I was mad at him. It's like, Jarek, you make 0.5% on this shit. Like, what are you doing?
You got to move the money.
Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, listen, after 2008, you know, when I almost didn't make all my money, I said, I want to pay off all the mortgages. My CPAs, my attorneys, like, Jarek, you cannot
pay off the mortgages.
But what happened? I'm a slow learner. I'm being like, you know, I'm not going to call myself dumb, but, you know, I'm a slow learner. Okay. So everybody's telling me for years. And until, you know, I get a tax bill, like, you know, not only I pay $400,000, $500,000 a quarter, and then I get a tax bill for $1.7 million.
Oh, sure.
I'm like, that's what everybody was talking about. I'm like, got it.
Yeah.
Got it. You know, so it's a different game right now.
It's so funny when, you know, and I've known a lot of investors, myself probably included, that when you really start going heavily into real estate and then you learn the two magic words in real estate, which is cost segregation. And when you start segregating those costs to get the advanced appreciation on real estate to wipe out your tax bills, which is so funny. But so as you started coming up, you just started kind of blindly buying fourplexes, then building it up without having a tax strategy, without having a banking strategy, without having these things.
I have no idea, man. Like I'm telling you, by 2008, when 2008 hit, I just bought so many, like here's 50 units, here's 100 units, here's 100. Like I'm like, and everyone like, what are you doing? I was called Clown of Denver. If you want to get rid of something, just call Tadla. He will buy it. And I bought everything. And then 2010 happens. Like, how did he know? I didn't know. I just remembered like what I paid. Like I paid $70,000, $80,000 a unit, $60,000 a unit, and now I'm getting for $10,000, $17,000 a unit. Like I knew it's gonna turn around. But I always have the belief.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I never listen to voices, you know, outside. I always have a belief, like beyond belief, and I have the faith. So when I have all this, the negative, I call it like a distractions, those voices, like noises, I never listen. And it did work out. It did work out.
See, for me, I always try to use what I call the Starbucks theory, which is if you want to know a good commercial development, just find a place where Starbucks built one or put a store, because they probably pay people more than I will ever be able to afford to decide that's a good corner. So then I want to be next to Starbucks. And during the crash, when that happened, I've always been pretty good at finding all of the waves of real estate as far as in the retail side of it. And when the market fell in 2007, I became a huge short sale agent here in town. And then that transitioned into, I became the number one foreclosure agent in the country for lender processing services, who was the big one that got wrapped up in the robo-signing scandal. I was our number one real estate agent in the country. I would roll into work every day and turn on my computer and have 30 new listings. And I did a lot of real estate in shorts and flip-flops those 2 years. And then when that started phasing out, I wasn't buying anything that I probably should have. I had friends in the business, because again, I'm scrupulous, but I have friends in the business that shall go unnamed that during that time were also very large foreclosure agents that were buying all their own assets in shell LCs owned by family members. That was too much for me, as far as like, I didn't want to push the envelope of honesty of was it illegal? No. Was it probably dishonest? Yes. So I didn't really want to do that either. So I didn't do that. My friends that did that made a tremendous amount of money. But where I started buying assets again was I got contracted by both Goldman Sachs and by Blackstone and purchased a tremendous amount of their portfolios here in Vegas. So what we did start doing is, as I was buying for both of those entities alongside, we started picking up properties. Because I figured if their analysts say that this is the time to buy, then I'm buying on their analysts. Right. So for me, I do love listening to my gut. My gut, I'm not gonna lie, my gut has cost me some money over time. It has, but I do also like my Starbucks method, where I try to find the smartest guys in the room and maybe jump on the back of that coattail and ride to success.
I bought billions of dollars, not billions of dollars in real estate, and I only found 2 good deals.
You only what?
2 good deals.
2 good deals.
2 good deals.
That was the only time.
And every single good deal I found, it was right here from the heart.
Was it?
I only make bad decisions in my head. Only good decision in a relationship, in a business, everything was from the gut. I don't analyze shit. I don't listen to anybody. I just like, hey, that's a good property. And then because I believe so much in it, then my head makes it work.
Yeah.
Even if it's a bad deal. That's why I only found a few good deals. I was like, how can you buy only 2? Because people think you wait on the sideline and the good deal showed up. You got to have hundreds of deals in order to find a good deal. Yeah. You cannot just like, if we find the first deal good, you screw for life, because then you expect everything else from it. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like you want to like I'm telling like the audience right now, if you're getting into real estate or anything, like I don't stop with real estate, I pray for you to make a bad decisions. Mm-hmm. So you learn from it. So then the second is going to be better and third is going to be better. Because if you hit a jackpot on the first deal, you're done. You know, because then you're gonna expect that your expectation is gonna be a lot higher, and you won't be able to find it.
Well, I think you're gonna probably have some good deals on the horizon, because part of, I think what I read about what you do is you self-fund everything. You do not syndicate your deals. You do not raise private capital. You do not do that. Everything is self-funded. You made yourself immensely bankable. I think a lot of these syndicated multifamily acquisition deals that have happened over the last 2 years are about to absolutely fall on their face. I think they've got major problems. That you're smiling, you're smirking, because I think you probably believe the same thing. Yeah. Have people come to you looking to get a bailout on some of these things yet?
Yeah, it happens. I'm very fortunate, and I see deals that, the other way, and everybody's scared right now, and I love it. I made shitload of money in 2008. I made 10,000 times more during COVID, and everybody freaked out, and we're again in the same 4 years later. We're in the same cycle.
Yeah.
And you know what? I might be wrong. Maybe this time my gut feeling is gonna be wrong, but we'll talk about it a year, 2 years, or 5 years from now.
What are you bullish on going forward for the next 18 months?
Apartment building.
Apartment building still?
Yeah.
I think the debt. I think there's a debt problem in multifamily right now. I think the cap rates are atrocious because of it. And I think until that problem gets solved, and I think there was a lot of people that speculated deals on rates would come down and they could refinance out, and that's not happening.
The longer the wait, the better. Let him start.
You can feel a lot of people that I've seen that are big in the syndication of multifamily are struggling right now, and they're scared about what's going on. Obviously, commercial took that hit. 18 months ago. That's funny. Every commercial guy I know right now, their handicap has improved like 4 strokes because his cap rates get shitty. Their handicaps get better because all they do is play golf because there's nothing to buy. But yeah, so when you're looking for a deal, when you're out looking for something, what are you looking for? What are you looking for in a deal?
It's people say location. That and it's true. I really look at, like, I don't look at the numbers, I don't look at the rents because I don't know if they're true or they're not. A lot of people just, they just tell you the best of the best.
Yeah.
And I've been in the business 31 years, so I don't look at those numbers at all. I do my own numbers, and I look at, the access to the highways, access to the schools, access to parks, access to all this stuff. That's how I look at it. But now I'm also switching from C-class to A-class. So,
okay.
So, because remember, like when I got in on apartment buildings, like when I was renting, I was treated like shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to get in and help people so that they're not going to be treated like me. And now at that time in 93, 95, only were poor people renting. And the second you get out of it, then you kind of buy a new home and people start getting out of it. Right now, the culture and demographics change, and younger people and successful people, they just want to have access, they want to rent, and they want to be able to move immediately. But they want all the amenities, they want to have everything else going on.
Are you finding that it's harder to find deals in that C-class area that you can do forced appreciation on, where you can improve the properties and immediately build a value, or because most of them have already been improved over the last 4 years?
Yeah,
that's what I see.
Yeah, it was always easy. Before COVID was very easy. But now a lot of hedge funds and all this stuff, they came in and they
improved them all
over, and yeah. But it's always easier to find a C-class than A-class. It's always easier. The numbers on A-class don't make it.
Yeah, they're hard.
Yeah. But I don't need the cash flow anymore. But I want to have a new building. So I'm only 52 years young.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna live another 50, 70 years. I mean, so I just want a newer building and.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Now let's talk about this, because obviously the thing you wrote a book about, you're passionate about this, is going to be mental health, especially within men and entrepreneurship. And you talk about an imposter syndrome, and you talk about those things. I mean, how have you been affected by that? When did you first learn you had a problem with that, or think you had a problem with that?
2008.
2008 was the first time?
Yeah, because what happened is, all my friends, everybody, I was successful, so everybody was giving me money, and I knew that I can, pay them back, refinance property, stuff like that. And then 2008, Lehman Brothers went out of business, and I got stuck. But here, my friends like, hey, I want my $10,000 back. I want my, $20,000. I need my 40. So those I could get out of cash flow. Suddenly, I have bigger friends like, hey, Jarek, I want my $1 million back. I want 2.2 million. I'm like, dude, I can't. Like, nobody's refinancing.
Yeah.
And I thought I'm the bottom of the, it's funny. I really thought I'm the bottom of the bottom at that time.
Well, I think
I was wrong, man.
Dude, I think obviously when you've got a major catastrophe like that happening, it's easy.
Yeah.
For me, I've always been very frank about it on this show. Like once a year, I talk about it. I'll go into something called the funk. It's normally that's what my wife calls it. The funk is I'll just hit a place where for no reason, I just kind of hit the doldrums will just kind of hit me. And some years are worse than others. And, sometimes, I just call it a win if I can get one thing done that day. If I can just get one thing done that day. And, it comes and goes. It's not consistent. It happens again, like once a year. And it's something that I definitely have struggled with over the years. So what's your advice for dealing with that mental health stuff? And as nobody here is a clinical board certified psychologist.
Yeah,
let's clear that up. These are just two dudes that are having some problems, shoot the shit about what we do to help each other. There you go.
It is funny.
That's all we're doing.
What are you talking? Like, how can you have problems? Like people, like what even you got everything, you got your shit figured out.
Yeah.
Even like yesterday on the Vegas morning show, it's like, so how do you balance? Like, I don't. I still didn't figure it out. I'm still in the process, and I always will. There are and you have it once a year. I think I have a lot more than once a year.
Yeah.
But what I have the awareness now. Hey, I'm going to the space. Even like literally last Monday, I was taking a shower, and my queen pissed me off, and I got to start having like negative thoughts. I was like, shit, I'm losing my shit again. And I just got out of the shower, babe, I love you. You know, I have my USA place. I have a beach house in St. Augustine. I love this house. It's my USA place that I completely disconnect. And she just look at me, thank you. I'm like, well, because, you know, I'm losing my shit. I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to say something, and not only to you, then I'm going to say something to my kids. So, you know, I call it like, this is time to reset. But I think the older, like every year, I don't know about you, but every year or every like time it happens, I have a bigger awareness.
Yes.
And what happened is, because when I get to the bottom, when it happened to me in 2022, like I couldn't get out of the bed and was really, really bad.
Yeah.
The voices got louder and clearer. And I start believing in the bullshit that I create the bullshit story.
Yep.
And I almost commit suicide. Like I have the boat ready. I have everything ready.
Oh,
like
Jesus.
I couldn't deal with this shit. I just got out of like toxic relationship. You know, I made more money during COVID than possibly could. You know, I'm healthy. My body, I have a 7% body fat. I'm freaking fitness freak. I'm like everything I got right. And I'm losing my shit. And it's like, what about people that have real problems? Dude, you don't have a problems. You worth freaking millions of dollars. Like, you don't have problems.
Yeah.
What if I do have problems? What about all these people? It's like, if I'm going through this shit, what about other people? When I start opening about this stuff, like even look at like right now, you telling me that.
Yeah.
You know, you guys have it. Like we all have it, but we don't talk about it because we as a man, we think that we fucking weak. It's like, what do you mean? You go to your beach house and cry? Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Do you think I have a problem like crying in front of my kids right now? No, I have this emotion. It's like, your dad is not the tank that you can just beat up. It's like, I have feelings and emotions, but we as a man, we can't be weak. Like, well, you got to be the provider. You're supposed to, you know, protect me, but I'm also allowed to have feelings and emotions.
Yeah.
And what happened when you hiding for so many years, you know, like I hid it for 50 years, that shit, man, like hit me hard.
Eat you up from the inside.
Like, yeah. And I couldn't deal with that, because my bucket was completely empty. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, this is like, you know, wake up call. And I have so many of them. And it's like, and I have the tools. Just imagine having the tools. Like I was.
Well, let's talk about the tools. So like, what are some of your tools when you hit that spot?
Well, number one, and you got to have a tribe. You got to have a brotherhood. You got to be, and again, I'm talking about men. Like, I don't, you know, women, I'm a man. So like, I don't know how women think, but so, and you got to have a tribe. You got to have a support system. And number two, you got to freaking open up. Like, you got to say shit like that. And you got to say the shit out loud, because it leaves your body. And then you got to connect it, you know, devil and God and love, and like right here. And you got to connect them, you know, because this shit, you know, our problems and negativity, toxicity right over here. Here's love, you know, and light. And it's like this stuff doesn't get manipulated. Our head is. And the voices are, the more we talk about it, the louder. The
more you believe it.
The more you believe it. And then that's what, like you said, like, I love it how you said, you just go and just you know it's happening. But I believe me, your kids, your wife knows like a week before it happens, man.
For sure.
It's like, dude, I was like, shit, dude, motherfucker, you doing there? You going there again?
Yeah, she knows.
She knows. But first we block it, you know, and then until, you know, it's like, oh my God. And the tools, it's number one, talk about it, have a brotherhood. For me, man, it's physical activity it's a must.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, physical activity is right. It's right. But I couldn't do it without praying and meditating and just.
Are you a TM guy? When you say meditating, are you a TM guy?
Yeah. I don't know what TM means.
Transcendental meditation. It's a whole thing.
Yeah. I
had a guy, Ari Rastigar, I don't know if you know who he is. I call him the Oracle of the Oracle of Austin. Ari built a $8 billion portfolio in just at like 4 years. Ari's a great dude. Told me two things, change your life. Transcendental meditation, hyperbaric chambers at 168. I'm serious. Yes, he said those two things.
I do all the, yes.
Don't read any books. Don't do anything else. Get hyperbaric chamber, 160 or 2.5 atmospheres, and learn transcendental meditation. So when a dude that's got $8 billion tells me that, I did both.
Yeah, definitely. and ayahuasca helped me a lot.
Ayahuasca.
I mean, the first time it made me aware of all the issues and all the stuff, you know, when the unconscious mind and conscious mind they met together, and you know, and I went through the process. That was the first kind of like a wake up.
Did you go to Peru, or is this like backyard shaman?
Backyard shaman.
Okay, got it.
In Orlando, it's I love him so. And that's another thing. And just being in the right environment, and I mean, I meditate a lot. Like I'm telling you, I read like freaking a lot and I meditate a lot. You know, I can disconnect. Like when I see like I'm losing my shit, like my brain is not thinking right.
Mm-hmm.
I can like, I have people that like, we're making millions of transactions and I will leave the meeting like, I'm not going to do this to your podcast, but I was like, shit, I'm losing my shit. And I really leave the room. I'm like, shit, I don't, because in few minutes we can burn so many bridges or so many problems we can create that it's not worth it.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean? So, and remember when you're in the drift, when you recognize that you're in the drift 2 minutes or 5 minutes and you can really disconnect it or a day, that's like, you know, but you know, like I was in the drift for years and I wasn't aware of it.
Dude, that's why I thank God for modern technology, right? Because now you can type shit and just like, let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you some other
Shut up, I do this shit.
And then delete it, right? And then I'm going to tell you everything I wanted to tell you and then delete, right?
You doing this shit?
Of course I do that. Like, of course, if you're an idiot, if you don't do it, you got to type it out and you just type the email and then I'm going to tell you about this and this is what I'm going to do to you. And then,
you know what I did to it? You know what I did to it?
And it's done, right?
I read it out loud in anger.
Yeah, and then it's over.
Yeah,
and then you don't. But imagine this though. But like seriously, like 40 years ago, when you had the and then you're really spouting it out. There is no delete on that.
Yeah.
So then you're really blowing people out. Now through modern technology, we have the ability to tell people to go suck it, and then they never really know we did it. It's magical. You don't burn any bridges, but you still get to exercise those demons.
But what happens is when the demons get in, even people around you, you know, you can put like a poker. Like I'm a master in being a poker face. Like seriously. But the energy is there.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I know, hey, we're not getting anywhere right now. You know what I mean? Like, and what is nice about modern technology is like, I feel like I'm losing the shit and I'm pretending like I lost the phone call, like I lost the signal. Like, and then I go, and then it's like, hey, what's up? So how are we doing this? Like, and a lot of time when I call 5 minutes later, you know, the attorneys, they figured out this like, oh yeah, like, oh, never mind. You just come back. Okay. Hey, just so we know, we're doing this way.
You're like, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, but I could, you know, screw up a lot of deals.
Do you have a mantra you say daily? Do you have what is the self-talk like with yourself?
You know, I have a daily ritual.
Okay.
Every day.
What's the routine? Yeah, let's hear the daily routine. What is it?
Well, I wake up very early. So
what's very early?
So for like 4 a.m. And the first thing I do, I put my earpieces and I start meditating for like 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
Okay. And so my queen is sleeping. She doesn't even know. So I don't wake her up, you know, stuff like that. Then I go, you know, just go to the shower and then my ritual starts in the shower. I do all my work, everything in the shower. So my shower is my everything. Like, you know, it's like if I wait long shower.
Okay, what is that? Well, you do all what work do you do in the shower?
You know what happened?
It's not washing your hair.
No, hell no. So what happened is I think all the stuff like 50 years from now, 70 years from now, you know, now I add all the, you know, my legacy to the kids and all the stuff like how and just think how. And then and I go to the process. Like first I go to like a, you know, gratefulness. Then I go to the pain. Then I scream my mantras, and then, you know, I reset. And that takes like, you know, like a, you know, 20, 30 minutes.
And that's the prep. That's the mental prep for the day.
Dude, I have like a speaker in my shower. Like, you know, the system I have in my shower is like people don't have it in nightclubs.
Oh, I don't hate it.
Yeah, I was like, I have a sound over there. I have a heated. I have a sound. I have a sound system. Is like
I have a room in my shower. I have the same shit. My shower is bigger than this room.
Yeah, and I have this view of the water, and I was like, dude, it's enormous, and that's all the work is done. And then I prepared, you know, go downstairs, get a coffee. I'm a coffee addict. I drink a lot of coffees, and then I read. And
what are you reading right now?
Right now, Surrender by. That's a good book. Surrender. I do a lot of like a self-education movie. I read Bible a lot.
Do you find yourself going back to the same, other than the Bible, do you find yourself going back to the same book sometimes?
Yeah.
What books?
My Bible is I Drink the Devil.
Well, the Bible, obviously, but what other books do you find?
Bible, I Drink the Devil.
Oh, what is it? I'm sorry?
Napoleon Hill.
Oh, Napoleon Hill. Okay, there it is. Devil. Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I live by this
great book.
Like, because that book's like, it's fun. I'm going back to drifting. Like this is like when I look at what you drifting is like, this is right there. Like, I got to get on this one. Like, I got to get with you because you understand, like, we do drift. It's normal. And we cannot be judged for it. and sometimes we just lose the, because we are so focused, we cannot multitask, that, right? I mean, we just like, shit, we're doing this shit. And then I have older people just keeping me, just look outside the box. Look outside the box. I can't because I'm like right here, focused. Man. So I need to, just disconnect it and just ease my mind, because there's the second like the voices go in, it's I'm losing the battle. But just having the awareness that cut it, because even when I hit, it's funny when I hit the depression, when I had like I couldn't get out of the bed for months.
Yeah,
what happened is first I was mad because I got sick. I was only 2 days sick. Okay. And then, when you're sick, like you start thinking all the bad stuff, the divorce, the kids, the stuff, there's some business. What the hell? The businesses I didn't buy. Like, what the hell? Like, and then next day you add, oh, you did not get out of bed yesterday. Oh shit, you did not make any phone calls. You did not read anything. You did not work out.
Balls were on the wrong way.
And then suddenly this shit's it up. And then next day, oh, now it's 2 days. Oh, you motherfucker, you lazy, this like that. You're a loser. You like this. Who gives a fuck how much money you have? Like this is like you did like. Did you say love you to your kids? About oh my god. And then the voice like oh no.
Dude, that's why I say when I hit that space, it's just get one thing done. Yeah. One thing. Because then you don't have a day like that. Because you got to get something, I don't care what it is, that you can absolutely hang your hat on. I got that done.
But here, what happened is you got it when that. So let's say I'm riding, like when it happened, right? I'm riding 100 miles. I'm running 10 miles a day. I'm swimming 3 miles, and then I did not do anything. I cannot go back after being in bed for a month, do all the stuff.
No.
Your body's not designed.
No, it's done.
So for me, it was success. Get out of the bed and walk like 150 yards to the stop sign. There was a win.
But that's something.
There was a win.
That's a checkbox.
But I have to forget about all the other. All the other is not there. You get there. And even if you never get there, you use this experience to do something else. The pain. And this, like, I have to redesign and completely rebuild the new Jarek. Mm. But this time, like, I want to build a new Jarek with like, I don't drink, I don't do drugs, like, I work out, I read, like everything in the book I do right.
Yeah.
I have, 5 kids, I have a great queen. It's like, I got like, and I'm still going through the same process, and it's like little wins, because we, especially like the more successful you got, you only want freaking home runs, man.
Yeah.
And it doesn't exist, because then we don't celebrate the little wins.
Well, I got to tell you, the thing that changed me the most from that line of thinking to kind of more at peace, even kill me, if you will. The book that I will say of every book that I've ever written, every book I've ever read that's changed my life profoundly was The Obstacles Away by Ryan Holiday. Getting introduced to a modern version of classic Stoicism had such a profound impact on me.
Can you tell me the title?
It's called The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. It is to me, it is the most, it's really, it's just a retelling of Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, the writings of Seneca, the writings of Epictetus, all of these classic Stoics, which I think really just changes your focus to control the things that you can control. There's a lot of, like, if you've read the book, The Four Agreements, there's a lot of elements of Stoicism in the Four Agreements. It's controlling what you can control, letting go of things you can't, staying focused on things you are, because I think, and it's oddly enough, I was watching an interview the other day, a clip of one anyway, with Jim Carrey, oddly enough, who said something very profound. That dude's actually wicked smart.
He's
wicked smart, that guy.
When he opened his mouth, it's like, dude.
Somebody, he said, anxiety is living in the future and depression is living in the past. And I thought,
depression is your body's telling you, fuck you, I'm done. I want out.
Yeah. And it's funny, because as you just were talking about your negative self-talk that was eating you alive, it was all the things that you hadn't done. There was no fear of what you were going to do. It was all based on the deal you didn't do. You didn't tell your kids you loved them enough. You didn't do this. You didn't do that. And that concept of regret was what was eating you alive. Yeah. So kind of goes along with the same thing of just understanding that. And I think that book, if you haven't read it, highly recommend it. If you're listening to this, totally recommend it. Read that, because I think it had a really profound impact on me on being able to let go of what I did yesterday that I can no longer control, and not being worried about what tomorrow brings, but trying to be as present as I can in this moment every day. And I think as an entrepreneur, like you just said, really wanting more and constantly wanting home runs and that next thing, because it almost becomes like a dopamine hit for us, right? The deal chasers. Just want to close a deal. That's the dopamine hit. That's the thing. And you still got to have that edge to be successful in business. But you've also got to get to a point where, you know, being wealthy is not having the biggest bank account. Being wealthy is not about having 5 supercars. Being wealthy is about not wanting for anything. And what you want for is completely within your control.
What being wealthy is figuring out everything you need is within you.
Yes.
And all the other stuff, the way you start looking for validations from outside world, it means, holy shit, where do I have to work? What is missing? What is missing within me? What is the wound or trauma that did not heal or didn't even get digged in? You know what I mean? It's like, why is this? Why I want the fame? Why I want to buy a bigger jet? Why I want to you know, another house? Why do I want another, you know, I want to get to, you know, like, you know, 100 billion portfolio. Why I want to be? Why?
What's the end game?
And you know, it's funny. It's all the billionaires and celebrities. You know, us. We go and we go to the, you know, ayahuasca. We get a help from monks or books or Buddhas. None of them become to celebrities or billionaires. A motherfucker help me out. I got everything. I don't need any of this shit. You know, and just being aware of it and just work on yourself and then figure out why you need this stuff. It means there's a lot of work to do.
Well, it's funny. Every really, truly successful person I know answers this question the same way when you say, like, what's the best thing that money buys? And it's always the same thing. It's time. You know, I'm blessed enough to be in a place where I just got back from Europe for 2.5 weeks, taking my kids over there and just fucking around for 2.5 weeks all over the damn continent. And it was awesome. And I couldn't do that. I mean, obviously the wealth is important because that's the kind of result that you can get from it. So that's why I strive for it, but it's time with my kids. Like the material things don't really matter. But however, I still catch myself sometimes. Dude, all right, prime example. And this is so stupid, but this is the kind of thing I'm struggling with this right now. Tell me if you would struggle with this, right? So here's the situation. My wife wants a new car. All right. She wants a new car. And literally, I can buy my wife whatever she wants. I don't care. She has had every Highline car you can possibly imagine over the years. She's had them all. Currently, she has a BMW, and because service at BMW is just a disaster, we want to get out of her BMW. She doesn't want it anymore. So I said, babe, I'll buy whatever you want. Do some research, figure it out, because I obviously had on time. We'll figure it out. She comes back to me and says, I want a Kia Telluride. That's what my wife wants. A Kia Telluride. I can buy you any car on the planet you want. My wife wants a Kia Telluride. She wants it because, and I looked it up, dude, she's not wrong. Car and Driver, #1 mid-size 3-row SUV, ranks over all of them. She's had GL 550.
I can already finish the story for you.
Hang on a second.
Babe, you cannot buy a Kia. Everybody gonna think I'm broke. I'm not successful. What are you doing, babe?
Exactly.
No, we cannot do that.
Exactly.
It's
exactly.
Like, yeah.
So this is my struggle.
There. So here what happened. So I was there in 2010. So I'm driving Maserati in 2008, like, you know, Ferrari. This and I'm living in Denver.
Yeah.
I don't live in Miami. Yeah. There's only one in the whole Denver metro area. And I'm driving it. And I got to the point like 2010, I don't need this shit.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy Infiniti, the 4-wheel drive Infiniti, the sedan Q, I think it was like
QX,
45.
Yeah, whatever.
Not QX.
Q45.
The
Q45.
Yeah, the QX was the big one.
Yes.
And that's like for me, you know, we have 4 kids. So you know, everybody's going to think we broke. Like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, babe, but I don't want to be known as a guy with money. I want to know guy like with the big heart, you know, and it took me years. And even like right now, like, I think we never like,
bro, Infiniti is not a Kia. We can all agree with that. It's not the same thing.
You know, it's at the end of the day, it's what we think about us, and that's another thing. It's like, hey, why I'm thinking like that, and then I go inside.
I know.
You know, we can talk about it, but why? And
it's so dumb.
but
So
you know what is nice? When you're in an environment, you can share the story, and it's like that's a different. You know, when I become vulnerable, it's like people are like,
yeah, just me and you and 20,000 of our close friends are hearing this right now. So
but that's okay. Hey, you know what? Not everybody's gonna think what we think, but at the end of the day, you got to be okay with that.
Yeah,
you know, and it's like, hey, honey, I get you. I'm not ready yet. I got to do some inner work, and I'm not fucking happy.
No, dude, I'm gonna get her what she wants. Yeah. I don't really give a rat's ass. I mean, dude, but I've gone both spectrums of that too, because at one point we sold it 18 months ago. But I went in with a guy that I know on a jet, and we had a Dassault Falcon 50, great medium range jet. We bought it as a business to be able to charter it. Pilots are impossible right now. I noticed you talked about planes. If you know anything about planes, you know pilots are really hard right now.
You don't have a microphone in my bed, right?
No, I don't. No. Pilots are incredibly hard.
I have this conversation with my queen this morning.
Oh, did you really?
Like literally.
Yeah.
Like, so we don't need a $72 million jet. Like literally this morning.
No, this wasn't 17. This is a $3 million jet.
Yeah.
But it was, great plane. But you have to have really 5 pilots in rotation for that business to make sense, because they can only fly so much. We could never keep more than 3. So it was sitting on the ground way too much, and we were just getting eaten alive. But I will tell you this, that the plane, for the image that I portray for my businesses, like who I am to my clients, who I am to the agents, who I am to everybody else, having that plane hurt me. It didn't help me, because all of a sudden it was like, this motherfucker's got a jet? Like, what? Like, no, dude, no. Like, wait a second. And it hurt me. And I was like, wow, it was a little too far over the line of this thing.
All the perks, having money, having jet is like, to me, is the best one.
It's the best. It is.
Like
I miss
time.
it.
You said time.
Dude, it was great.
Like really, like we get in, like even, hey, we're flying to Vegas, we're flying to LA. And now I'm like, dude, great, we're going. Let's just jump in, and like 15 minutes, I'm in the air. And it's like, but I run four pilots, you're right. And it's like, people's like, oh, having a jet is expensive. No, it's not. Mm-mm. If you charge the shit out of it, it's like that's what I do in the real estate business. It's like, if you have
it's a fourplex in the sky.
Yeah, if you got a 91 on the 91 and you only do it, but if you have a 135 certificate and you just charter the plane shit out of the plane, it really doesn't cost you anything. Even it just, it's like you'll be able to, if you have the right guys, the charter the plane. Yeah. I mean, you can hit 40 to 50 hours a year for free.
Oh yeah,
which is humongous.
That's where we started. Yeah. That's about where we started. But then when we couldn't keep pilots, you're screwed.
Because the pilots are prima donnas right now. You got to pay them $350,000 a year, and they're prima donnas. But if you treat them right, they're not gonna go. But they're always gonna have somebody else. Hey, how much you get paid? $350. I gotta pay you $400. Yeah. But so I mean, but that's the business we're in.
It's hard.
That's hard. But you might get. But you're right. Depends on. You might have a lot of people lose the business. Like, shit, I'm not doing this shit. Like, you know what I mean? It's a lot of people might not like it.
Well, let's finish this up with talking about imposter syndrome, because I don't think we got to it. I want to talk about, for those of you who don't know what imposter syndrome is, it's when you walk into a room and you feel like you shouldn't be there. I think that's the easiest way to describe it. Like, how the fuck, holy shit, who am I in this room? I'm supposed to do this, and how's that work? Talk about it, man. Talk about it.
It's funny. I was calling him imposter syndrome for years. It's like, get out of my head. You know what I mean? It's the entitlement and the ego. It's been, and I called it for years, imposter, for years. But right now I know he lives in my head and is controlled by devil. And I have to go, like, I gotta go with the imposter, just go for the dance. That's what we're talking. That's what we're thinking. And that's, and then I really switch from my head. It's like, what is going on in my heart? What is telling you? Because it's like, we cannot, again, I'm repeating myself. We cannot listen to those voices. Mm-hmm. Because what happens is we feed the voice. And the more we feed it, the more the voice becomes louder and gives you more reason to validate your thinking. But when I go with and that's the reason I reset. I was like, shit, I'm going the wrong direction. The imposter got me again, because this motherfucker gives you bribes. It's like, well, look at, you did this. Like, let's say walk in the room, right? Mm-hmm. Look at this. You don't, it's like, you better than this. You're not supposed to be here. It's like, you know what I mean? Like they call me in the kids' school, on the red carpet. It's like I have not been on the red carpet when I was freaking 10 years old, 30, when I got in trouble in high school, middle school. Mm-hmm. And now those are like, do you know who I am? And I'm like, no, I have to completely reset and not listen to that and just listen what my heart wants to do. We always lose the battle in our head, believe me.
Well,
the ego always gonna win.
For me, I always think, I look at it this way. It's like the advice, if you have a high school age kid that has anxiety about whatever they're having at school, you always tell them the same thing, which is nobody's thinking about you. They're only thinking about themselves. Everybody's worried about what everybody's thinking about them. They're not thinking about you at all. And I think if you really break imposter syndrome down to its core, what gives it power is you believe that others don't think you are worthy or you are enough. So if you realize that others are probably not thinking about you at all, it does tend to zap a little bit of that power.
That's the book.
That's the book.
That's the book, because what happened is when you believe the imposter, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You start looking validation to prove the world that doesn't give a fuck about you.
No.
To prove it that you're worthy, that you can do this. And that's the battle. I'm getting goosebumps saying that. That's the battle we lose. You know what I mean? That's the battle we lose. Because the second you go within, it doesn't matter. If somebody tells me, hey, you Chinese? Yeah, I'm Chinese. You black? Yeah, I'm black. You're a woman? Yeah, I am a woman. Who cares? Like, I know who I am. Yeah. If there's a strong like foundation with the inner work, there's nothing. You broke? Yeah, I am broke.
Who cares?
I mean, you have a $5 million plan, not 50, or it's like, oh, you have a plan and you partner with somebody. Yeah, you charter your plane. Yeah, so what? So what? It's like it's a. But when you have all the insecurities and all the imposter going in your head, it hits you. Oh, shit, they right, because you think about it when you when you with yourself. When you the second you clear the conscious, you clear. There's nothing that nobody can poke you. Remember, your queen will always poke you. That's it. I mean, she's got power over you.
She's got the right to do it.
And your kids will always poke you because it's because those are our kids. We love them and we want to protect them. We want to, you know what I mean? There's always going to be. But there's nobody around that should be able to have access to you. Like, I don't like access. And sometimes like me being, because I was for life people pleaser. And me being selfish right now, like, I gotta be selfish. I gotta take care of myself. I'm like, people are like, what is he talking about? It's like, you gotta set the boundaries. It's like, no, I'm not, like, I need time. Like, we gotta feed it and we gotta feed it. I never understand, like, what does it mean? Like, feed the king, it's like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, go do stuff for yourself. Oh no, because what about my wife? What about my kids? What about my business? And we like when you said you disappear once a year, when you don't do that, when you don't fill out the bucket, it's gonna take you apart, and the imposter's gonna win all fucking time.
It's like whenever there's a problem in an airplane, they say put the mask over your face before you try to help others. That's what they say. Same thing in life. I
never understood that.
Same thing.
You know that I just understood this a year ago? Because I did the inner work on myself. Like, what do you mean? I have 4 kids. Like, what do you mean take the mask and put on my... No, I got to put on my kids, on my wife. I got to... My mom, where's my mom? Where's my dad? Right now, if I don't put my mask on mine, I cannot help anybody. So the work we do, we help. Like, look at what you do on the show. You helping thousands of people because we just provide the shortcuts. And the second we give them a shortcut, they just build out of it. That's what it is. It's like, but you got to fill out your bucket. You cannot just speak to thousands of people and you freaking hangover, you empty, you miserable. Your wife just pissed you off, your kids, you're going to come here, you're going to have no fucking energy. Like, that's what, like, look at that. Like, the way you did the introduction is like, shit, like, dude, I don't think I can match that.
well, that's a good thing. Well, Tarek, man, if they want to, or Jarek, sorry, if they want to catch you on social media, if they want to connect with you, how do they find you?
On Instagram, Tadla Jarek at
Cool. Well, man, brother, I appreciate you coming down. It was a great conversation. I got a lot out of it. If you didn't get anything out of this, there's something wrong with you. But I'm just saying that it's the truth. There's something wrong with but
just so you know, it's everything is wrong with us. It doesn't matter because something wrong with you doesn't mean there is like you can
fix it.
Yes, there you go.
But you need to remember this, man. Nobody's coming to save you. You got to save yourself. And if you're somebody that's out there drifting along with the currents of life, man, it's time to start swimming against the currents and take control. We'll see you next week. What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us for another episode of Escaping the Drift. Hope you got a bunch out of it, or at least as much as I did out of it. Anyway, if you want to learn more about the show, you can always go over to escapingthedrift.com. You can join our mailing list. But do me a favor, if you wouldn't mind, throw up that 5-star review, give us a share, do something, man. We're here for you. Hopefully you'll be here for us. But anyway, in the meantime, we will see you at the next episode.